entrepreneur always keeps her receipts, especially when they involve Jenna Kutcher, Rachel Hollis, Amy Porterfield, and whatever the hell they're selling these days. Right? I don't know. Actually, I do. It's called Project Next. That's the next big thing, right? Heard it through the grapevine. Then the next thing that Marie Forleo is selling is called Time Genius. Funny how Project Next and Time Genius both have the same hook. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, so why the hell aren't you as rich as our beautiful rancher Brunson clad asses, right? It's been a while. It's been a while since we've co-muckraked together. So I thought I would come back to my roots, right? I dress up in my finest pajamas. Right? Isn't that, you know what? I'm wearing rainbows in every way, in my heart and on my ears, right? And I thought, you know what? It's been too long, buttercups, since we've co-muckraked together. Well, part of why I took a little break was, well, my life is falling apart. And everything involved in it. And also, yes, and to this, I was working on what turned out to be a 7,500 word mini book. You want to talk about a white paper? You want to talk about a ebook? I just wrote the best ebook I've ever seen in my life. And so, you know, I've had people ask me, like, folks will come into my DMs as I'm going through hell in a handbasket and be like, hey, can you just quick Q for you? What's the problem with Marie Forleo again? What? Buymearobe.com. First of all, if you are enjoying anything that I'm putting out there, this is work. And you're about to see how hard of the work this was, because I just put together the online marketing industrial complex's greatest whistleblowing white paper ever to grace the internet. You're welcome, Google. And you want to know what gave me the final push? Oh my gosh, Rachel. By the way, Rachel, I found some stuff when I was doing my research. Don't worry, you're not in there. But, so I put together this recap to end all recaps. And while I was putting it together, I don't know, where was I going to go there? I decided that I've got to read it to you. It is a masterpiece. This was the final push I got yesterday. Somebody reached out to me and they said, hey, I took Business by Design or something with James Wedmore years and years ago. And people have been reaching out to me because James Wedmore kind of famously uses me as a testimonial, asking me if they should invest. And some of these people don't have the money to invest. They're like making $10 an hour. They could not scrounge together this money. Yes, Rachel, you! Don't worry. We'll talk later. I was just trying to keep you engaged I'm just trying to keep you engaged in the live stream. For any replay watchers, me and Rachel are having a tete-a-tete, and you won't even know what the hell we were talking about because these comments aren't saved in the live stream, in the replay. So go on and speculate which Rachel I'm talking to. It's Rachel Hollis. Rachel Hollis and I are talking right now. So she's here. Think about it. Okay. So this person reaches out. She says, people come to me to ask me about my opinion on James Wedmore, and I don't have a handy recap to send them about why he's problematic. And then these people come and they cannot afford him. And I don't know where to send them. So I Googled. And this person told me, she was like, you did a good job with your SEO. And I'm like, I don't know why that felt like such a compliment. I was like, thank you so much. I was like, you see me? Because I did try to do a good job on SEO. That was the fucking point. So this person reaches out and says, you did a good job on SEO. I found your video and I sent it to this person. And they were like, oh my God, you saved them from investing in something that they were not ready to invest in. And from a political standpoint, it would have, it doesn't align with their values. And if it weren't for your video that you created, this isn't on the record, right? Because, we've been talking about all this stuff about all these leaders, the Jenna Kutchers and the Rachel Hollises. Well, Rachel Hollises are one exception. She's taking one for the team, and that's in this recap. We're going to talk about that in a second. Don't feel too sorry for Rachel Hollis. She's just fine right now. She's making a pretty penny while she prepares to do her whole rising phoenix repentant sinner act. Wait for it. In 5, 4, 3, 2. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Let's go, Rachel Hollis. I saw this coming a mile away. You tell me I'm wrong when that happens eventually. I can see the future, people. I can also see me monetizing my own pain and making millions off of it. I'm trying to, manifest happy stuff these days. So this person tells me that they, they're with the Rachel Hollises and the Jenna Kutchers and the Marie Forleos and the Amy Porterfields and the James Wedmores, the Tyler J. McCalls, the Russell there's not barely a record of the harms that they've caused, as well as like negative reviews that they receive. This isn't just about like their political values. This is about negative reviews. This isn't just that they are Trump supporters and QAnon supporters and things like that. Not all of them, but some of those names I just mentioned, right? It's also that the shit that they're selling doesn't work and it's predatory and they're literally hypnotizing people into buying it. And the majority of the folks buying are not getting the results that they are putting in bold in the testimonial section of their shiny sales pages, right? That's what this is about. So this person came to me and they were like, your SEO worked. But as of yesterday, the only thing that existed about this was a video. There wasn't a handy written recap. There was, in which, videos are great, but, Google, let's talk about SEO. This is your little free school lesson for the day, really prefers long form content. At the end of the day, the best thing that you can do to is long form content. Google loves it because it's text, because Google can read it. Because Google can actually read it. Google can't read a video. It can only read the description of a video, right? Oh my gosh, I'm like, thank you for protecting me against Honest Arcade. Whatever they're into, I can't understand why Honest Arcade wouldn't support what I'm about to read. So let's talk about it. So I decided if my SEO is already working on the expose video, now I got to write it in a written recap. And also, okay. I thought I would sit down. I thought it was going to take me like a half an hour. It took me all night long. I didn't sleep. And I'm lucky to have a little bit of childcare right now, which is why I'm doing this. Okay. So I've got my Aldi brand tangerine sparkling water. How relatable is that? And I'm going to take you on a journey. I'm going to read it to you because really the real experience is hearing me tell you the story again. But this way, let me just tell you, this is like my magnum motherfucking opus. Okay. I'm like, I can't believe that the greatest thing I've ever written is about this. And yet I'm proud because I do believe that what we're onto here is not just some internet feud as some of like the industry leaders have referred to it to try to like get me to shut the fuck up. And in this case, I brought the receipts, by the way. So in the video, I didn't have the receipts, but now I do. And by that, I mean, I have the DMs from me and Jenna Kutcher and Tyler J. McCall, including voice messages. I've got the emails. I've got the screenshots. I've got the proof. And now it's on the Google record. It's just what I'm trying to encourage you guys all to do, thinking about like when you want something, commit something to the Google record, put it on your website, please. Do not put it on someone else's platform. Even if it's Medium, I mean it, don't. You need your own website. And because the Instagram record, that's what these people are banking on, that you won't put it on your website, that you won't put it on the Google record, partially because you might be locked up in an NDA. So let's talk about it. Let's take you on a journey. You can go and read this yourself, read along with me if you like, at RachelJennaAmy.com. That's Rachel with an EL, not my Rachel Hollis. So RachelJennaAmy.com, or the link is in my bio. And I got to tell you, this is a wild ride. And according to wordcounter.com, this will take about 35 minutes for me to read. So, it's going to turn into a podcast episode later. So this is like the audiobook version of the greatest online marketing industrial complex recap ever told. Titled on RachelKalvers.com, What Rachel Hollis, and by the way, this is a fucking lesson and a masterclass in SEO. So let's go. You want to put something on the record? This is how we do it. So what Rachel Hollis and Jenna Kutcher taught me about James Wedmore and Tyler J. McCall, and what it means about online marketing. Look at all those juicy keywords. And then there's the video. And then I say I lead with an H3. I have a lot of H3s, which probably aren't that great, but you know what I'm saying. If you don't know what an H3 is, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, because I'm not probably using them correctly anyway. In late 2020, Tyler J. McCall recorded a live video where he denounced James Wedmore, citing Wedmore's Trump support and QAnon ties. Then the video disappeared. What happened? And what does all of this have to do with Rachel Hollis, Jenna Kutcher, and Amy Porterfield? Is Tony Robbins in on it too? And how the hell did I get mixed up in this, right? I feel like a 36-year-old Harriet the Spy. Except I also happen to be an expert in my field. I'm a brand strategist turned business comedian turned court jester of the royal shit show that is online marketing today. And you'll soon find out why. Once upon a time, I built brands for hundreds of entrepreneurs. I was the rebrand whisperer, taking a brand in transition from business model to marketing strategy to messaging to creative direction to brand and web design. That was my signature process, the entire kit and caboodle. The Monday after the coup, I woke up after 12 years of 7-day weeks, endlessly, haplessly trying to scale as I served hundreds of entrepreneurs, helping them wrestle with the unwieldy funnels somebody with a slick webinar convinced them they needed. Something broke. Burnout is a bright red flag waving you in the direction of exactly what you need to burn down next. Saw this coming a mile away? This burnout as old as time and the brand that came before it are both important here because they answered the question, why do you care, RKA? Why do you care? And the follow-up, where do you find the time to follow these people? I care because I spent 12 years cleaning up their messes. I'm not a disgruntled customer. No. I just work with other people's disgruntled customers. I didn't find the time. My clients paid me to pay attention to these folks. I watched who they watched. And that included Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, Jenna Kutcher, Rachel Hollis, Gabby Bernstein, Chris Carr, Danielle Laporte, Kate Northrup, Laura Belgray, Laura Roeder, Jasmine Starr, Shah Wasman, Brooke Castillo, Tyler J. McCall, James Wedmore, Lewis Howes, Tim Ferriss, Michael Hyatt, Jeff Walker, Donald Miller, Jim Fortin, Brendan Burchard, Russell Brunson, and Tony Robbins. That's the prologue. In the beginning, my very first client might be a witch because she told me to watch and copy Marie Forleo all those years ago, which ultimately inspired my most popular blog post of all time, You Don't Want Marie Forleo's Website. This same client had me transcribe Marie Forleo's Live in the Moment Booty Camp, literally called that, back when robots weren't a thing. So I believe I took the early prototype of her upcoming time management program, Time Genius. And you know, if she brings Josh Pice back for the revival, I really do see the future. So you got to go for the recap because I've got screenshots now. Like I got a screenshot of her Live in the Moment Booty Camp opt-in page. This was all the way back when Amy Porterfield marketed herself as a Facebook expert. That was who she was back in the day. And hadn't yet graduating to being the girl boss next door of the entire online marketing industrial complex. It might also explain why Amy is clinging so fiercely to the funnels she rode to the top. They helped her go from just another Facebook serf to queen of the good girls. Amy worked for Tony Robbins, but then she broke free by spending $20K-ish in Marie Forleo's original Rich, Happy, and Hot Mastermind alongside Laura Belgray, Laura Roeder. Remember this. All roads lead back to Tony Robbins. Repeat it like a mantra. And I only know this because this client that saw this coming a mile away told me, seething with envy, so that she wasn't in the room where it happened. And then there is a screenshot of, I guess this is October, I think February 2010. It's Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, Laura Belgray, and a bunch of other people. I feel like they're on Richard Branson's private island, but I could be wrong. And then there's some screenshots of like early Porterfield. Oh, and some of her shit got like 50 likes. I love it. Yes, this client of mine consumed courses and masterminds and 3-day 10K retreats like I devoured every second of John Hamm and Mad Men. I spent years with her trying to make sense of what my traditional marketing education meant in an online marketing world. Because for the 6+ figures she invested in the secret to end all secrets at the end of someone's silky smooth sales pitch, she never seemed to find it. The secret, that is. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. At first, I thought I was a bad steward of these systems. But then the patterns presented to me again and again and again. 12 years of examples like this. And I rarely met the type of case study student you'll find as shiny testimonials on all these celebrity entrepreneurs' websites. And then there's a picture of promo graphics for B-School, Knowledge Broker Blueprint, which is now becoming Project Next, Product Lunch Formula, Business by Design, Business Made Simple University, High Performance Master's Program, Digital Course Academy, Tribe, and the Life Coach School. I worked with hundreds of brilliant business leaders trying to move from brick and mortar to the World Wide Web, ensnared early on by the smooth stylings of someone who knows their way around a webinar, only to spend money they didn't really have on systems that were never going to serve them. And then they showed up at my door with nothing left in the budget and nothing much to show for all of Marie Forleo's promises that the world needs that special gift that only you have. But because they invested so much in this snake oil, including and especially their trust, most of my clients insisted that I find a way to fit their business into these misshapen dick funnels anyway. They believed there was something wrong with them, not the model. And to be fair, so did I. So they hired my agency to fix it. And I spent 12 years rolling the same stone uphill, with all those scorched by online marketing made sleazy. I invested, personally, dozens of extra hours in every single project, re-educating my clients, smart, high-achieving business leaders that would not self-describe as suckers, about the realities of modern online marketing and what it would cost, both in terms of time and money, to execute the schemes they learned in some fucking telesummit. I gotta tell you, it's a special type of insult when someone spends thousands of dollars with you only to ignore your best ideas and insist that you do something they heard from a bro in a YouTube ad instead. And there's a picture of Brad, the braggy bro. You have to go see it. Go see it. One day, right around the time I posted the above Brad meme, in fact, I woke up and as the pre-inauguration tension in the United States was at a crescendo, boiling over into the violence of the coup, I said to myself, why the fuck am I building websites for people who insist on repeating the same bad ideas? And that was it. I stopped taking clients that day. And soon after that, my life and business just started to unravel. And you saw it. If you've been here for the ride, you saw it. In February, I started Free School, which I thought at the time was simply going to be a fun experiment in teaching everything I know for free in my Instagram stories with no opt-in or follow required. Even that sounded radical at the time, right? But I barely started to warm up when the truth started tapping me on the shoulder, tap, 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 demanding I set it free. Turns out that the lessons that I needed sharing in Free School weren't about building website or writing copy, but how to become your own creative director and take agency not only of your business, but of your life. The brand names that I referenced early in the Free School journey, like Marie Forleo, James Wedmore, were meant to be symbols to help my audience, to help you understand how to spot a bro marketer or girl boss tactics in the wild. Free School didn't start as an expose. No. But the more I referenced those few brands I just said in my stories, the more they started exposing themselves. And what I innocently thought were just a few handful of greedy showboats hawking their wares with a few spoonfuls of slime turned out to reveal itself to be something much more sinister. Saw this coming a mile away too, but I didn't want to believe it. Nobody ever does. Especially when we move past the bro marketers to their kids' sisters. The ones they recruit to help make their offerings more inclusive, as Jenna Kutcher explained when she shared how Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi hired her as a consultant for their new program, Project Next. All roads lead back to Tony Robbins, remember? More inclusive in this case is code for horizontal scaling to new markets with the same shitty product. It's easy to run from accountability when you're always hopscotching to new audiences via the latest flavor of the month. That's how they get you. Right now, that flavor is live, laugh, love culture, and its spokeswomen are Jenna Kutcher, Rachel Hollis, and Amy Porterfield. But Marie Forleo walked so Jenna Kutcher could run straight into the arms of Dean Graziosi. Before Jenna was flexing her private jet sessions with Uncle Dean, Marie was the original it girl of horizontal scaling. Meaning Tony Robbins trained and mentored both Marie Forleo and Amy Porterfield, and they've been cross-pollinating their audiences ever fucking since. Never forget that Marie Forleo invented hanging with the bro marketers. She went to Richard Branson's private island when Jenna Kutcher was still in braces. Marie Forleo is the Farrah Fawcett to Jenna Kutcher's Cameron Diaz in Tony's Angels. And then there's pictures of Jenna Kutcher on a private jet with Dean Graziosi, Marie Forleo with Richard Branson at his private island, and then an early-ass Tony Robbins interview with Marie Forleo from like 2011. When Marie Forleo's a baby, you got to go watch it. Go check it out. RachelJennaAmy.com. All right. Now I know you came here for, now I know you came here for the tea on James Wedmore and Tyler J. McCall, right? some of you, and that's talking to the people who get there by SEO, and the lost Trump / QAnon tapes. But before I can get to them, I had to tell you about the white women who make all this bullshit possible. On the surface, these girl bosses are just washing their faces. But make no mistake, something wicked this way comes. It's very on brand for disappointing white women that so much of this can be traced back to Rachel Hollis and Toiletgate 2021, the saga of relatability. Rachel Hollis posted her now infamously unrelatable TikTok toilet TED Talk on March 31st. Where were you when you first heard the Hollis dehumanize her housekeeper? It's one of those things a basic bitch never forgets. The original TikTok is no longer available, but Brad's lip sync is, and then there's a link to my lip sync is Brad. It seemed like everyone on the internet had opinions about Rachel Hollis, except for Hollis herself, who was busy making Easter baskets all weekend. And her friends, famously Amy Porterfield and Jenna Kutcher, at least as far as Google is concerned. So I tagged them and wondered aloud in the comments what Amy and Jenna had to say about all this. Jenna Kutcher has entered the chat. I literally had Roberto take a video of me when I opened my first voice message from Jenna. I do not often DM people who have damn near 1 million followers, okay? These bitches all just ignore me as I clown around on the internet talking trash in the name of truth. And I'm not afraid to admit that, because that is exactly what JK was banking on. I'm going to play this and see if you can hear it. Because I put it on YouTube of me, literally this video of, I was like, Roberto, take this video of me opening up a voice message from Jenna fucking Kutcher. Okay.
I appreciate that. I know. Oh my gosh, I just have so many thoughts, and it just kind of breaks my heart that leadership is looking some of the ways it's looking these days, but it's also so tricky to publicly say things and that kind of stuff too. So
I was in my closet when I was getting this.
As you suggested, and you know, we're all different humans, but I think there's definitely some correct ways to go about things and some not so great ways to go about things. So I agree. I concur.
Jenna Kutcher said she agrees with me. That's what you just heard. Okay. Namely, this was what JK was banking on. Namely, that I would be so cowed by her celebrity. And the fact that she would DM with little old me, I might just back off and see that Jenna Kutcher is just a sweet, relatable mom like me. This is also when Jenna revealed to me that she doesn't talk to Rachel Hollis anymore. And why would I think they're friends anyway? Because she just posted that one picture. They haven't even been on each other's podcasts. They don't even follow each other. It was just that one picture. That one picture I'm referring to features Amy Porterfield, Rachel Hollis, and Jenna Kutcher laughing with perfectly tousled hair and messy buns in a suspiciously cohesive color palette. Amy in gray, Rachel in black, Jenna in beige. Their feet are pointed in that perfectly imperfect way that we all hope our feet look like when we try on those ballet flats and check them out in the ankle mirrors at Ann Taylor Loft. If I buy these skinny jeans and then give James Wedmore $30,000, will I laugh in a heap with my biz BFFs at Blackberry Farm too? Should I also get the head wrap? I'm wearing it. This is very Kutcher. I look just like Kutcher does in this picture. I don't know if you can see it, but this is me. I look just like her. Channeling some Kutch. Oh, and this pic with 49,960 likes on Jenna's Instagram, only 37,862 on Rachel's Instagram, with Amy coming in at 9,282 for her version, also happened to appear on Good Morning America with the headline, "Double Tap If You're Lonely," in a campaign led by Kutcher to talk about loneliness. It pairs well with the Facebook Live that Rachel, Jenna, and Amy did the weekend, that picturesque weekend of girlfriending at Blackberry Farm. But why would I think that Jenna Kutcher and Rachel Hollis are friends? It was just one photo and one Good Morning America feature, which paints a very chill portrait of casual lady friendship with the following. Okay, here's a quote from that article. Kutcher, Hollis, and Porterfield made a commitment to their friendship by booking 2 more getaways while they were together last weekend. They also set friendship rules, no BS, come as you are, and reach out to one another without needing a response or reply. What? According to Kutcher. What? I just read that like, what? It was just one photo. And the fact that when you Google the term Rachel, Jenna, Amy, the entire first page of results is about their non-existent friendship. I don't know. Go to racheljennaamy.com. You tell me. Maybe Jenna was confused because what I was referring to as a friendship was no more than a corporate partnership. I ended up DMing with Kutcher all Easter weekend, who kept telling me she was talking to Trent and Amy. I am so aloof that I thought, is her husband's name Trent? Where have I been? No, she was referring to Trent Shelton and Amy Porterfield. Her husband's name is Drew. You may recognize Trent from his involvement in the Own Your Future / Project Next dip funnel alongside his pal Jenna, okay? And then there's a picture of everybody all together in their Project Next, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi situation. I told you all roads lead back to Tony Robbins. Jenna, Amy, and Trent were all in agreement that the best position on their prominent brand partner, Rachel Hollis, was no position. She told me in the voice messages, in between photos of her daughter that she sent, almost as if to say, back off. I'm just a mom. Nothing to see here. As a woman who supports women, Jenna told me, it just doesn't seem appropriate to critique Rachel. Another version of RKA might have felt so overwhelmed with pride that someone as big as Jenna Kutcher cared about what I had to say. And I might have misinterpreted that feeling to be a relationship with this woman that moved me to focus my attention elsewhere. Because women who support women don't hold each other accountable. They look the other way. That's how they get you. Sorry, not sorry, Jenna Kutcher. I'm just not as easy as I used to be. Just ask the man I'm divorcing 365 times. I love that one. And by the way, this is where I shared the screenshots of Jenna Kutcher Kutchlighting me. Okay, so I got all the receipts, all the screenshots. Go check them out for your fucking self. So I kept talking about it in my Instagram stories, and Jenna Kutcher kept watching them. At one point, she approached me and told me she no longer felt safe in communicating with me because I was twisting the facts for my agenda. So she announced that she was disengaging and urged me not to frame it as ghosting. Good thing I have a PhD in Instagram gaslighting by now. So, yeah, you guessed it. Saw this coming up my way. More screenshots like her being like, I think you're twisting this for your own purposes, but that's okay. But that's okay. I'm going to disengage here because I feel like this isn't accurate and isn't actually what happened or how it went down. It feels like this is going in a direction that supports your narrative, but doesn't support my truth. Again, I don't know you so well, so I should probably just keep my mouth shut. Yeah, Jenna, you really fucking should have kept your mouth shut. Jenna Kutcher thought that if she graced me with her presence and a few blurry snapshots of her toddler, which I have receipts of as well, I'd back off. She was weaponizing my desire for importance and the social currency that comes with being her friend to get me to shut up, to distract me from the fact that Jenna Kutcher is the face of a multi-million-dollar company, not just a girl next door. The genius of this unregulated industry of self-appointed experts is that they've been able to skirt accountability in a way that corporations can't by pretending to be people instead of companies. Mix in the mom element. Oh, and the millions of women throughout the world who are aching to break free from patriarchy and think their pals, Jenna, Amy, and Rachel, can help them do it. Suddenly, we've got corporations pretending to be our besties so we'll feel guilty forever doubting them. Jenna Kutcher was relying on my training as a woman who supports women in support of the man. Support, in this context, means silence. Where a corporation would be held accountable, a personal brand like Jenna's or her pal Russell Brunson's ask us to give them grace. When I didn't, she tried to manipulate me another way. This is when I bought JennaKutcherIsMadAtMe.com, by the way, which you can go to. In a weird miracle / mindfuck of sorts, on Easter Sunday, I woke up to a message from Jenna at 1 a.m. with a screenshot of what looked like a comment she posted in response to Rachel Hollis. In case you can't see the screenshot, I'll transcribe it here for easy reading. Jenna's comment on Rachel Hollis's privilege post at 1 a.m. on Easter Sunday, April 4th, 2021. And now it's on the Google record. Boom! I wasn't going to comment here because I have been an imperfect leader in the past and subconsciously lean on my own privilege in problematic ways. But that the fact that I'm losing sleep thinking that my silence may be perceived as support to you and that this message and it couldn't be further from the truth. Wait a minute, you just told me that this wasn't your truth. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. It couldn't be further from the truth. Now, the person I once knew and the troubled, angry, dismissive person in this video are very different people. And instead of pointing out all the ways this video and sentiment is wrong, as others have eloquently expressed, I want to say this. You are being called in to do the work. You have a glorious opportunity to apologize, learn, and grow, and take your community on this journey with you if you choose. Witnessing what that can look like for themselves to learn and understand too. You've consistently boxed out anyone who dares disagree with you or challenges you or calls you in. So I pray those in your inner circle are ready to walk with you through what it takes for you to grow and change into a leader. A leader who empowers all women, who can accept feedback, who is capable of change and values her community. I'll be here if you're ready to take those steps and need someone who's trying to be better. And I'm praying for you to recognize just how wrong this is. Pray emoji. But a funny thing happened on the way through the comments. I couldn't find Jenna Kutcher's comment. I reposted it in my stories though, as I now think Jenna expected me to, and went on my merry way. But then my DMs started filling up with questions as to where exactly we could find Jenna's official statement. Where was it on the post? Suddenly I realized, oh damn, this ain't no Easter miracle. It's Kutch lighting in the 3rd degree. Jenna and Trent and Amy, I don't know, thought this comment would get buried in my stories and drift away in 24 hours, never to be seen again. So I posted it on the grid, and now I'm posting it here. The phantom comment. I reached out to Jenna and asked about the phantom comment, by the way, on Easter fucking Sunday. And the Kutch answered me immediately, nearly immediately. I'm not even kidding. I had to scroll forever to find it. She lied. This is a self-described Instagram expert who knows that the very fact that she has nearly 1 million followers means the algorithm will lift her comment and put it at the top, especially for her and Rachel's mutual followers. How many comments and likes are on it? I asked her. No response. She never posted the fucking comment. Why though? Why? Is this, as Ash Amber J really accused this of, just a feud between gal pals? Gal pals are 2 distant brand partners who both profit inadvertently from the other's success. I don't know. So while Jenna Kutcher and Rachel Hollis, the women, might not be friends anymore, the girl bosses must remain respectful of each other's empires so they can both get filthy rich. And this is why I care. And this is why I care. Because what I stumbled upon, thanks to Rachel Hollis's sweet housekeeper, is a scary network of folks who all monetize our collective desire for security and belonging using tools like hypnosis and then spiritual bypassing the fuck out of us until we all just submit to a role with Tony Robbins as its king, forever paying him and or one of his many inferiors $19.97 per month. But the scary part isn't that the powerful are preying on the less privileged, right? Tale as old as time, but that there is seemingly no Google record of any of this. Like I said with Jenna and Rachel, the men and women behind these brands might hate each other, but their brands, self-described 7-8-figure empires, are forced to be best friends forever, entangled in endless NDAs and non-disparagement clauses. Marie Forleo is famous for an aggressive legal team that leaves no negative review left online. This means that the Google record reflects a pristine reputation, not because, as they would have us believe, Oprah's thought leader for a next generation is really so effective at transforming people's lives, but because she's so effective at hiring great legal representation. Ask yourself who this silence serves. How exactly does a woman supporting women hide real reviews from them, robbing them of the full agency in making a buying decision? Which leads me back to James Wedmore and Tyler J. McCall. Just as Marie Forleo was the fairy godmother of early online marketing stars like Amy Porterfield, Laura Roeder, and Talking Shrimp Laura Belgrade through her high-ticket mastermind, James Wedmore is the modern godfather, with folks paying him between $20 to $40K to grab a seat at his table, which comes with elbow rubbing with the latest class of up-and-coming paid-to players. And one of those players was Tyler J. McCall. Here's a screenshot from James Wedmore's his Facebook feed. And it's got a picture of Tyler J. McCall. It says how a burnt out social media manager built his online business by design. And then it shows, the subtitle says, Tyler saying, I had a childhood where I always felt like I was on the outside. Ooh, monetize that pain, James. Tyler joined James Wedmore's high-ticket mastermind, got in the room where it happens, and emerged the new it guy of Instagram. And then, like Amy Porterfield did way back when with her Facebook transition, to online business in general. Then Tyler stumbled into James Wedmore leading a MAGA meeting? I don't know, JK, but I like to imagine the hilarious circumstances in which Tyler J. McCall could have had this I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus moment with James Wedmore and Donald Trump. Tyler J. McCall discovered that his business mentor and someone he had aggressively supported and affiliated for was affiliating for the granddaddy of sleazy marketers, Donald Trump himself. And maybe Q, best known for his work in QAnon too. Nobody knows. So Tyler hopped on a live video to distance himself from James and express his shock and disgust at discovering that someone he admired and supported could support a vile, even treasonous snake oil salesman like our 45th president? Rumor has it, the video also implicated Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School and Angie Lee too. I'm just a humble internet outcast who heard it through the grapevine. And free speech protects that. Which is as good as it gets these days because the video vanished into thin air, never to be seen again. Tyler himself told me in the DMs, which I have, copies of as receipts in this takedown, after he, like Jenna Kutcher, watched my story silently for days without engaging, that it wasn't James Wedmore who asked him to take it down, actually. Who was it then? Brooke Castillo, Angie Lee, Tony Robbins, Donald Trump himself? Was it Q, Tyler? Was it Q? Nobody will ever know because the video is gone forever. I didn't even see it, but my followers did. And fellow free school freshmen. And they kept sending me DMs asking me where it went. I had reached out to Tyler a few times to crickets, but that day I tagged him in my stories in relation to James Wedmore. And he leapt into my DMs to clarify his position, much like Jenna Kutcher leapt at the chance to clarify that she is no longer BFS with Rachel Hollis. Speaking of Rachel, a few days after Tyler slid into my DMs and then agreed to an interview with me on my podcast making fun of business, he backed out via his aptly named assistant, Rachel, saying his priorities had changed. And I've got the receipts of that too, so you can read that there. I had offered to steer clear of the topic of James Wedmore completely and focus instead on the change that the industry needs. I'll attach screenshots of our initial chat confirmation email and the cancellation I received just a few hours before our meeting because they speak for themselves. Tyler J. McCall, like Jenna Kutcher, hoped that if he slid into my DMs, I might hold him to the standard I hold my other biz BFFs. Joke's on them. When you burn down your industry and set fire to your reputation, you don't have biz BFFs. Just enemies in high places like Blackberry Farm and Necker Island. And Nashville, the new Jonestown? See my article on the StoryBrand scandal, storybrandscandal.com. Josh Harris, Donald Miller, and Josh Duggar, ? Yeah, him too. Which brings me back to Rachel Hollis, who is currently taking one for the team. And by the way, there's a picture now of Rachel Hollis and Tony Robbins and then the whole online marketing industrial complex. And by team, I mean this network of network marketers in Coach clothing who are lining their pockets and vice versa as she rides out the latest wave of short-term cancellation and then inevitably comes back as a repentant sinner and slides into the multi-billion-dollar I fucked up industry of motivational speakers who used to suck but now are found. Saw this coming a mile away. See, while Jenna initially insisted that she, Trent Shelton, and Amy Porterfield didn't think there was much to discuss publicly in the vein of Rachel's latest Hollising, their minds quickly changed as soon as they saw that their customers were paying attention this time. After days of silence, Amy Porterfield responded to my post. The one where I called Jenna Kutcher's bluff and shared her phantom comment on the Rachel Hollis thread that she was working on a response. It says, Amy Porterfield, I will be posting soon. Thanks for your patience. Years, people, of producing the most hilarious and utterly niche Amy Porterfield jokes. You can see them here and here. Go to fucking my Full House parody, my Jurassic Park parody, among others. And the warm chocolate chip cookie of the industry never wafted as much as a single watch in my direction. But when I urged her to comment on Rachel Hollis and she knew people were watching, she issued me a curt 9 words. I will be posting soon. Thank you for your patience. The next day, she told her audience she wanted to share her thoughts on Hollisgate. Since seeing the conversations and comments with Rachel's post, I did what I believe any friend should do, and I reached out to discuss with Rachel personally. While I have not talked to her yet, I want to be clear that I do believe her post was problematic and hurtful for many reasons. And to be honest, reading many of the comments helped me understand the problems in a deeper way. I have not been in this situation before, but I do know that this is my opportunity to move from awareness into practice, continue to do the work, and have the hard conversations. As for the live event, I'll share more with that after I discuss with her. If we are real friends, online or in person, and you post something hurtful for wrong, I will personally reach out to you, and my hope is that we will have conversations that are true, honest, and likely very hard. I made a commitment last year to be consistently and deliberately inclusive. That has not changed. I remain committed. I decided to make this a newsfeed post versus an IG story because I know comments are important. While I won't be responding to all comments at this time, I want you to know I will be reading them, and I care deeply about you. I have not been in this situation before, Amy shares in her post. A confession that Hollis's comments are the first time something a friend and brand partner said caused her concern? This is where it gets fishy, Amy. See, Rachel Hollis is no stranger to outrage. She's been Hollising in public for years. BuzzFeed published multiple long-form teardowns of her many counts of plagiarizing Black writers and passing off a potpourri of Pinterest quotes as her own. And then I have screenshots of 2 articles. One of them published January 31st, 2019. Headline, influencer Rachel Hollis is facing accusations she is plagiarizing on her Instagram. The next one, from April 27th, 2020. A little over a year later, Rachel Hollis has apologized after posting a Maya Angelou quote without attribution. What? This was all on the Google record, by the way, unlike Tyler J. McCall's video about James Wedmore. But Amy Porterfield, queen of online marketing made easy, didn't give Rachel a quick Google before becoming enmeshed in multiple brand partnerships? Is this what Amy recommends on her show? Choose your JV partners based on who has the cleanest face and then just hope for the best, because you can always take 3 to 5 business days to consider your position should said partner do something particularly egregious. And then there's a picture of Dave Hollis, Rachel Hollis, Marie Forleo, and Amy Porterfield with some other people that I actually don't know who they are at the Rise event from November 10th, 2019, 8 months after the initial expose on Rachel Hollis was published. Again, Amy Porterfield, the same Amy Porterfield, currently running ads about her 8-figure business, is the face of a company, not the actual girl next door. As far as I know, she and Hobie don't even have any neighbors anymore. They live in the hills of Tennessee now, didn't you know? And their move has nothing to do with the fact that so does Donald Miller and Michael Hyatt and a whole network of charismatic religious leaders turned marketers who have secularized mind control because it turns out it's a lot more lucrative than saving souls. This is why Tony loves his angels. Bro marketers and their Lamborghinis and inflated dick funnels are easy to hate. They aren't meant to appeal to everyone. They're caricatures, much like Donald Trump, that appeal to a very specific type of personality. Girl bosses, on the other hand, are much harder to hate because they look like our friends, or at least a fantasy of who our friends could be. They have messy buns and ripped jeans and toddlers and toilets that need cleaning. They've got the whole perfectly imperfect thing nailed. It came in a Canva template pack alongside a script about listening and learning and being an imperfect leader anytime a scandal like Hollisgate arises. And more than anything, they've got us fooled into thinking that holding them accountable as we would any other corporation means we're no longer women supporting women. In a corporate environment, it's called whistleblowing. In personal branding, it's called bullying. That's how they get you. But Rachel Hollis isn't the only problematic personal brand / unregulated corporation folks like Amy Porterfield throw their weight behind. Let me tell you about Russell Brunson, the guy who thinks Hitler is a thought leader. The deeper you go in this dick funnel-shaped rabbit hole, the more you find yourself longing for the simpler times of sweet women cleaning each other's toilets. All three of Tony's angels, Jenna Kutcher, Amy Porterfield, and Rachel Hollis, support Russell Brunson, founder of ClickFunnels, the software that made him famous after the potato gun, and more importantly, Adolf Hitler. I wish I was joking or exaggerating, but on page, actually I didn't put that down, page 2 of Russell Brunson's book / long form blog post, double space to hive heaven, expert secrets, Russell writes about how he learned to build movements from attractive leaders like Jesus Christ and Adolf Hitler. See for yourself. And then I post the page. In Russell Brunson's own words, it didn't matter if I was studying Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party or Jesus Christ and Christianity. All the examples I found had 3 things in common that helped them build a mass movement. You know, the only reason that I own Russell Brunson's book is because of Amy Porterfield. I first heard about him on her show in 2017 when she said, no one knows how to build a movement better than super entrepreneur Russell Brunson. And I trusted her. How could a woman with a voice the equivalent of a warm chocolate chip cookie steer me wrong? That was my first trip into the heart of a ClickFunnels dick funnel, and I'll never forget it. Oh shit! By the way, when I was researching this, the funnel is still live. Amy Porterfield is still making that ClickFunnels money. Cha-ching! Saw this coming a mile away. Russell did the old I'll give you my book for free song and dance, beckoning from the sewers like Pennywise. Before I knew it, I was clicking within an inch of my life, begging for mercy, wondering if I'll ever see the light of day again. And if you think I'm being dramatic, you've never been relentlessly upsold by Russell Brunson's robots. I'm proud to say I only paid shipping and handling, an awesome feat when surrounded by so many seductive bonuses that are all somehow about to disappear forever. Just my luck. I always wander into a webinar that's starting in 5 minutes, and the day that Russell Brunson promises to teach me everything he knows and throw in a George Foreman grill to boot, all for just $37? How can I bring this guy down when he lifts me up so selflessly? Coincidentally, the day I received my copy of Expert Secrets was the day Amy Porterfield's voice suddenly felt a lot less like a warm chocolate chip cookie and a lot more like a Dollar Tree air freshener in vanilla bean. If you spent 12 years trapped in someone's dick funnel with only tracking cookies and nothing else, and then emerged again to the smell of that vanilla tree swaying from your rearview mirror, you might mistake it for the real thing too. And despite Jesus Christ's alleged involvement, Russell Brunson's book was god-awful. And the fact that Amy had so heartily promoted it on her podcast left me feeling ill. Fun fact, the character of Brad the Braggy Bro Marketer was born a few months later. If you've been around since then, you've heard me talk about reverse niching. To get clear on what your brand is for, start with what you're against, and how my best content comes from the shit that pisses me off. Now you know that my shit looks eerily like a dick funnel. But I haven't just penned 6,000 words because I'm mad that Amy Porterfield apparently reads at a 3rd grade level based on the enthusiasm she displayed for Russell Brunson's unveiled attempt to create a ClickFunnels cult. The online marketing industrial complex enthusiastically endorses a man who is actively rebranding, i.e. whitewashing history, Adolf Hitler as a movement builder, which I guess makes the Nazi Party what, like a club? That's Russell Brunson. And Russell Brunson, in turn, endorses a man with multiple FTC violations. That's Dean Graziosi. And Dean Graziosi is partners with a man accused multiple times of sexual assault who famously victim blamed a rape survivor at one of his events after he rose to mainstream fame, starring in a film where he used his skills of hypnosis to exacerbate fat phobia and put Gwyneth Paltrow in a fat suit. That's Tony Robbins. And yes, I'm talking about the movie Shallow Hal. I told you, all roads lead back to Tony Robbins. What universe are we living in where Rachel Hollis is repudiated but Russell Brunson is celebrated? Isn't it funny how Amy Porterfield has never felt the need to make a statement about Russell Brunson, but she was moved to share her thoughts on Rachel Hollis? Except we know she didn't actually want to share her thoughts because, as Jenna Kutcher herself told me, Trent Shelton and Amy Porterfield both urged her to stay mum on Hollisgate until a critical mass of us compelled them to change their minds. And before you go feeling too sorry for Rachel Hollis, remember this. Here's a picture of Rachel Hollis at her Rise event from 2019, which features Brendan Burchard, Marie Forleo, Dave Hollis, Dean Graziosi, Amy Porterfield, Trent Shelton. Rachel Hollis may be taking one for the team, but it's still her team. Speaking of Russell, she was just with Brunson in Idaho in May 2021. while she performs her mandatory sentence of flying under the radar before doing a phoenix move of her very own. When she does, I'm going to tell my kids she copied my ass. Very on brand for her. A few weeks later, Jenna Kutcher got Rachel sloppy seconds because she was then with Russell in Arizona for the, you guessed it, Tony Robbins' Own Your Future event, May 11th through 15th, 2021, and its subsequent upsell into Project Next. And then there's a fucking picture of Jenna doing this with a ridiculous, I can't. Just go find it for yourself at RachelJennaAmy.com. Remember, this is the product that Tony and Dean brought Jenna on as a consultant to help them make it more inclusive. What exactly is Russell Consulting? Chocolate chip. When Jenna Kutcher worked with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi on their last product, Knowledge Broker Blueprint, also known as KBB to insiders, they marketed it as the last course you'll ever need. And then they changed their minds like a year later and sold that same audience Project Next, no refund, no discounts, no future updates on KBB. By the way, you know who else was an affiliate for your future Project Next? Dave Hollis, who still works for Hollis Co. So Rachel Hollis is making money off of all of this, despite whatever the New York Times has to say about it, and wherever she may be currently on the radar. And again, all roads lead back to Tony fucking Robbins. Sorry, James Wedmore and Tyler J. McCall, you're small potatoes compared to these big guns. See what I did there? But I'll circle back to you because your story deserves to be on the Google record too. In the middle of all the hubbub of Hollisgate, my DMs started to overflow with questions about other industry leaders like James Wedmore and what happened to the Tyler J. McCall tapes. And should the person behind the personal brand decide to end this friendship, as Jenna Kutcher did with Rachel Hollis and Tyler J. McCall did with James Wedmore, that friendship never ends on Google. Especially if lawyers are involved and money is still flowing as a corporate fruit of this phantom friendship. Okay, I had to make a wish on 11/11. Okay, as I publish this post on May 19th, 2021, if I Google Rachel Jenna Amy, this is what you see. And it's a Google search result, and they dominate all of the results. The first page. It's them, baby. Jenna might think that Rachel is troubled, angry, dismissive. Now, her words, not mine. But she doesn't mind if her pockets stay fat from the money that somehow makes its way back to her because folks still think they're friends. Similarly, while Tyler J. McCall told me he did his part and told his friends about what he saw, how he saw Wedmore kissing Maganon, as well as whoever saw the James Wedmore tapes before Q got him, I guess, the Google record reflects a different story entirely. One where James Wedmore is still Tyler's mentor, and Tyler enthusiastically promotes his programs. One where Tyler J. McCall and James Wedmore both get richer because of their perceived association. So neither is in any hurry to divest from the other. One where everyone I just mentioned acts endlessly aloof about all of the above, as if they hope we won't notice them all paying to play with each other. More like they're counting on their own ability to story brand / whitewash history, or at least Google search history, and gaslight us / distort the truth through a gorgeous IG grid, more inspirational quotes than you'll know what to do with, so much value. A few strategic dashes of listening and learning when something awful happens, or Rachel Hollis's again, and the dollar on the stick dream that you too might sit at their table one day. Who hasn't fantasized about Jenna Kutcher asking you to pass her the gluten-free mac and cheese as you both gaze at the sunset together, as Richard Branson and Russell Brunson both look on in admiration under Tony Robbins' watchful eye? Just me? In other words, their brands rely on the Google record not reflecting the truth about them. That's what the internet is all about. But thankfully, the internet is about this too. And by this, I mean this whistle was made for blowing. I'm but the lowly court jester of the royal shit show that is online marketing. Now you can say you have friends in low places, but don't quote me on that in a court of law. Clowning around, trash talking in the name of truth. Nothing to see here. Literally, half of these folks have blocked me by now. How Black Mirror of them. If an RKA blows the whistle after you block her, does she still show up on Google? Asking for a friend. The best thing that Tony's Angels ever did for me was ignore me. Thanks to this act of service, nobody could say we're friends in the company way or otherwise. But I'm also not going to pretend like I'm above any of this. If any of these women or the dick funnels they wrote in on had ever given me a quarter of a millisecond of the time of day, I would have named my kid after them in gratitude for all I know. The online marketing industrial complex and its SEO optimized friendships had me convinced that I needed to earn their love, and that would unlock a door to Willy Wonka's passive income factory or some fucking shit. So I spent years of my life trying to fit my clients' businesses into their misshapen dick funnels and ultimately trying to clown hard enough that they maybe laugh at one of my jokes and take pity on me, I guess. And Jenna Kutcher almost had me. She's skilled at monetizing her own motherhood and then weaponizing it to keep folks from holding her accountable, something she undoubtedly learned from her coach/mentor/business partner, Uncle Dean Graziosi. But it was too late. And I was too much of a wild card bitch at that point to be slayed by someone whose podcast I never listened to. Sorry, Jenna. You might have a cool million on Instagram, but it's Amy Porterfield and her warm chocolate chip cookies that I'll never forget. Free school only exists because I'm free of affiliate agreements and brand partnerships and Good Morning America features citing my commitment to these people. In the internet age, we're all swimming upstream in a sea of dumb shit. So why doesn't the Google record reflect all the shit that these leaders have done? It's not fake news we should fear, it's no news. After 12 years of watching my clients and friends ride their way through the labyrinth of dick funnels that somehow always lead back to walking through fire for Tony Robbins, it clicked! Marie Forleo once told me that the world needs the special gift that only I have. Well, here you go, world. I washed my face and then I figured it out. You're welcome. That's fucking so great. This is the greatest thing ever. By the way, still here, watch the full video for exclusive bonus content, including my Tony Robbins / True Blood theories. Is Tony the Bill in this situation? Is Marie Forleo Pam? Is Jenna Kutcher Sookie? Does this make Amy Porterfield Jessica? I don't know. The blue ocean of Phony Tobbins fanfic. If you know, you know. How Josh Pais was the real inspiration behind Carly Simon's song You're So Vain because she saw the future of Josh walking into Marie's hip-hop Hammerstein ballroom party like he was walking onto a yacht. He had to be there. Why are there so many Northrops? Where do they keep coming from? I'm afraid. That time I cosplayed as DJ, Stephanie, Michelle, Danny, Joey, Jesse, and Kimmy Gibbler from Full House to woo Amy Porterfield, and all I got was this lousy comment instead. And why Marie Forleo is the city mouse, and Amy Porterfield is the country mouse, and Tony Robbins wrote all of Shallow Hal's fables. That's why you want to watch the original video. Although this video is going into the recap too, because you got to have both. So I have 2 fucking videos in this goddamn motherfucking recap. And that's how they get you. If anybody would like to ask me a fucking again, what is the problem with these fuckers? I got it on the record now, baby girl. Baby boy, baby people, baby snickerdoodle. Ba boom, ba bop, baby girl boss. It's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch. It's not the age of the niche. Say it with me. It's the age of the wild card bitch. It's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch. It's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch. Oh, it's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch. It's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch. Oh yeah. It's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch. It's not the age of the niche. It's the age of the wild card bitch.